what is the importance of conversion rates, metrics, KPIs when we're talking about an intake team, a call center, or something within that nature? Why is that something that's important?
So I think there's a lot of times where our clients spend a lot of money on lead generation and we are getting these leads in, but we're not able to get to all of them. We know that if our clients receive an intake call and we don't get back to them right away, that person's going on to the next client. They're looking for something and they're looking for something right now. So the higher that your conversion rates are when it comes to your sales or your intake department, the more cases you're going to get, essentially leading to more money for your law firm, right? So it's very important that we continue to increase our conversion rates or get them at least to what our base standard should be in a lot of our different practice areas.
Hey there, welcome to LegalSoft's podcast. My name is Luis Cordova, and I'm a senior growth manager here at LegalSoft. With me today, I have Jessi Loring, head of enterprise.
Hi guys, Jessi Loring, head of enterprise. I'm excited to talk about enterprise today.
So, Jessi, why don't we get started today with talking a little bit about how enterprise differs from normal LegalSoft?
Absolutely. So, enterprise is a little bit more of an elevated experience for our clients. There are a couple of features that we offer to our clients, such as a free assistant operations manager, a cost plus modeling, along with cost plus modeling, along with some free videography sessions. We look at social media packages, Practice 360. So, there's a lot of different features that come with enterprise at discounted rates as additional services, and they really have a direct point of contact with LegalSoft, and that would be myself.
Got it. That sounds amazing. Can we talk a little bit about the assistant operations manager? I feel like
Absolutely.
that's something that's pretty crucial to this role.
Yes, yes. So I actually worked in a law firm for about 2 years, and I was kind of on the opposite side of what we do here. So we actually had virtual assistants, and I had to manage them. And I was also at the same time being director of operations and kind of like chief of staff. And it was a lot for me to be able to handle. And I was like, I wish that there was one person that we could kind of go to that kind of manages all of the VAs that we had in house. And so coming here, that's one thing that kind of evolved into enterprise. And as an AOM, an assistant operations manager is what we call them for short, they manage all of the VAs within the law firm. So from time, attendance, productivity, projects that they're working on, they have one-on-one coachings with all of your VAs. They do a lot of escalation conversation. That's one part of the things that they do. The other part is really helping from an operational perspective. So I think law firms are amazing at practicing the law, but they're not always the best when it comes to operations, as you know, with your history as well. So this person actually can kind of come in and help build out standard operating procedures for all the different platforms and processes that they already have in place. They'll build out org charts to help kind of when it comes to onboarding and really understanding the structure within the law firm. And then they'll also provide a client specific training. So they work directly with our learning and development team here to really put together a training program that's solely focused for that client. So they go through all of that client specific training before they get deployed to the client.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. That all sounds really interesting. I'd like to know a little bit more about, from your perspective, what sort of role the AOM plays when it comes to developing new processes, procedures, or even just documenting some of the current procedures that the law firms that they're working with have or are missing.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, like I said earlier, they do a fantastic job at practicing the law, but when it comes down to the operational piece, that's where they need a little bit of support sometimes, whether they know it or not. So,
Right.
one thing that they'll do is they will come in and create the standard operating procedures or SOP. And that could be around, helping them set KPIs and helping set KPMs, so metrics for intake department, case managers, stuff like that. So, one thing I think that SOPs are imperative to companies is because everybody's doing everything the exact same way. It's not Luis did it this way, Jessi did it this way, Neil did it this way. When we onboard somebody and when we train somebody, it is super important that everybody's going through the exact same process and doing everything the exact same way. And if there's a best practice that maybe you do different than I do, let's add that to the SOP and make it a standard practice versus something that maybe you just do as a one off. So, when we're doing onboardings for these VAs, when we're going through the platform training, when we're learning naming conventions or whatever it might be, the fact that they have something that they can go back and reference that tells them step by step how to do it is extremely beneficial.
Right, I can definitely speak to that too. Standardization is something I'm huge on. It makes onboarding, it makes every process much, much simpler because now everyone is coming in and doing everything the exact same way, as opposed to like what you mentioned, that I do something differently, you do it differently, Neil does something differently.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that. So
Yeah.
one thing that you can maybe help me understand a little bit better is, as I'm understanding it, the AOM plays sort of like a role where they're the bridge between the virtual assistants and your in-house management team. How
Absolutely.
does that relationship normally work?
So right now, the way that we have it set up is that the AOM, to your point, is the liaison kind of between LegalSoft and the client. So they're definitely the person if there's any questions that the client has, if there's any new requests that they need, if there's additional training that they need, they go to the AOM for everything. So the AOM is directly placed within the client's firm and works solely for them. So they're not managing any other law firms or anything like that. They're solely dedicated to them. The benefit is they know how the processes work. They know what the law firm's focuses and goals are. They have regular touch bases with these VAs. So by doing that, they truly understand how the law firm operates and can communicate to LegalSoft their exact needs so that we can be proactive when it comes to potential red flag VAs, maybe VAs that are having performance issues, something like that. We can actually get ahead of it. So, imagine we're working with, let's bring Neil into this again. We're working with Neil, and Neil, is an underperformer and isn't doing great. And you as the AOM have had multiple conversations with him. You then can let us know, hey, we're having these coaching conversations with Neil. We're not quite sure where we're going with that. LegalSoft can be proactive and get you at a backup VA to get them placed and trained side by side so that if it comes down to it and Neil doesn't work out, there's no lapse in the work that the law firm's doing. That is one of the biggest things is when somebody puts in their notice or when we have to let somebody go, where does that work go? It goes stagnant or we end up putting it on another VA and that VA gets overloaded or overworked, right? So by being proactive and having another VA come in so we have immediate backfill and they kind of know what that workload is, it allows for a seamless process when we're going through those coaching conversations with some of the VAs.
Got it. So before we move on to the next topic, seems like we have a meeting to schedule with Neil because clearly
Yes.
his performance isn't where we want it to be.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I'd be interested to hear your opinion about is, when is the right time to bring an AOM in? Is it when you have one virtual assistant, when you're barely starting the journey? Is it that 15, 20? When is the best time to bring in an AOM in your opinion?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So typically we bring them in once we've hit at least 10, just because we have to make sure it makes sense for both businesses. For enterprise, this is a free position that we offer them. LegalSoft pays for it, and it's really because we want the law firms to be focused on what they're best at, and we want to be able to support them with the virtual staff that we give them. So typically it's around 10. That's kind of our threshold to make it make sense for both parties. Plus these people are thoroughly vetted. These AOMs go through, I would say, the gauntlet within LegalSoft. They get passed through my assistant, then they interview with me before I even place them with a client. So these people have anywhere between 10 to 25 years in operational management experience, have managed upwards of 300 plus individuals, really smart when it comes to coaching, logging, very organized. And then also, as I mentioned earlier from the ops side, have experience in building out standard operating procedures, building out custom training plans and org charts. So 10 is really kind of where we put that cap before we even kind of start to have that conversation.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm curious to ask, and I think this is a good segue to get into coaching. Let's say a firm comes in, they get an AOM, and now they're like, shoot, what should we do with this AOM? We've never had an operations professional in our firm. Can you talk to me a little bit about how LegalSoft steps in and say, hey, we'll hold your hand through the process and whatever that might look like? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So that's the kind of the first step is that interviewing process. The next step is we put them through an AOM training. So, We talked about the org chart build outs. So we leverage Lucid. We take them through Lucid training. We take them through our training program so that they know what that looks like. So when they get deployed, they know how to elevate it for our client. We take them through smart coaching action plans. We take them through exactly all of the things that we need from a documentation perspective and a logging perspective and tracking and organization. We take them through all of that training before we even deploy them to the client. And the next step that I always like to do is set up individual touch bases with our client and the AOM just to say, this is how you're going to leverage this person. This is how you're going to utilize them because they don't know. They don't know how to necessarily use them all the time. So to sit down and say one on one, hey, where do you need support? Do you want to know exactly what your VAs are doing? Great. We can have this person come in and do almost an inventory of every single task that your VAs are working on? Or do you need them to focus on SOPs? So it really is a case by case, client specific role. We definitely have an outline of all of the things that they should be doing, but it's very tailored to the client. If the client needs them to focus more on coaching and attendance, that's what they'll focus on. If they need them to focus more on processes, that's what they'll focus on. So it really depends on what the client needs are.
God, it definitely seems like they get a lot of value out of an AOM when they're being deployed in the right way. So one thing I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about is beyond just the AOM and the coaching that they provide, what other coaching does LegalSoft Enterprise offer clients throughout the rest of their practice?
No, that's a fantastic question. Actually, being part of Enterprise, we do offer one-on-one coachings, and it really kind of depends on what the law firm wants. So if it is, hey, I want to grow my intake department conversion rates, if I want to convert my sales team at a higher rate, we have a partner that we would sit down and connect with that would really take them through a 6 to 8 week coaching program. Adam Ryman, he has amazing success stories working with some of our clients. Most recently, he worked with one of our clients based out of Texas, and within 6 weeks, his conversion rate jumped at this law firm 9%. So he does a fantastic job. It was 30 minutes once a week, pulled out the sales team, went through coaching conversations. Hey, what are your challenges? How can we overcome those challenges? So he does a really good job when it comes to that. On the counter side, if you are a law firm and you want to expand into other practice areas, if you want to expand into out of state, we have Hamid. You guys can touch base directly with Hamid and kind of pick his brain and learn. He's so smart. He's done this so many times. To sit down and have like a 30-minute session with him is mind blowing. You get so much out of it. You can really take your practice to the next level. So it really just depends on what the law firm is looking for. If they're interested in social media, we have Dan Taft, who's a fantastic partner that can sit down, scrub their social media, say, hey, this is what you guys need to start doing differently. Hey, I looked at your social media or your website. A lot of things are stagnant right now. Things are supposed to be more videos. Like that's what's kind of capturing, the social media world right now. So having the opportunity to speak with experts in the field is a huge advantage, especially when it comes to enterprise, because you do get a couple of free sessions on the one-on-one coachings.
Got it. And I want to talk about something you glossed over very quickly that I think is very important and deserves a quick conversation. What is the importance of conversion rates, metrics, KPIs when we're talking about an intake team, a call center, or something within that nature? Why is that something that's important?
Right. No, that's great. So I think there's a lot of times where our clients spend a lot of money on lead generation and we are getting these leads in, but we're not able to get to all of them. We know that if our clients receive an intake call and we don't get back to them right away, that person's going on to the next client. They're looking for something and they're looking for something right now. So the higher that your conversion rates are when it comes to your sales or your intake department, the more cases you're going to get, essentially leading to more money for your law firm, right? So it's very important that we continue to increase our conversion rates or get them at least to what our base standard should be in a lot of our different practice areas.
Okay, thank you for covering that. Metrics, KPIs, conversion rates are all things that I agree are super important, especially since they tie in directly to a firm's finances. So I want to learn a little bit more about some of the other features that come with enterprise. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely say the cost plus modeling is a huge benefit. So, one thing that I really strive to do when it comes to enterprise is provide full transparency. And that is one thing from a cost plus modeling invoicing perspective we provide. So, basically, you do get a discounted rate when you do go to the cost plus modeling. And what we do is we break down exactly what you're paying for. So, on our other accounts, it's a flat rate. When you go to enterprise, we break it down by how much your VA is making, what the operational cost is for LegalSoft to operate, and then what the LSS profit is. So, what is the profit that we take? So, it is full transparency. You know exactly where your money is going. And when you get your invoice, it's broken down that way. And the benefit is it's based off of, a 40-hour work week. But let's say you as a VA don't work 40 hours, you work 30, you're only paying for the 30 hours. You're not paying for that flat rate. So that is something that's really appealing as well because it allows law firms to continue to grow with us. And as we know, and it's proving success, that as you continue to take your law firm virtual, you can add more people. It's such a cost savings for you to do that it really helps kind of build up your intake department, your case managers, your paralegals. I mean, we have accounting VAs, we have client advocate VAs. We pretty much can staff anything. So, by being able to save you a little extra money here and there, allows you to be able to continue to add VAs to your firm and continue to help you grow.
Well, that's amazing. Speaking from experience, I'm sure the attorneys we work with appreciate the transparency given the lack of transparency in today's courts. So I'm sure that that's something that they appreciate a ton.
Absolutely. I think that that's one thing every time I break it down, they go, "Oh my gosh, like I understand. I get it. Like I know where my money's going. I know what I'm spending." We also pull the hours that the VA is doing. So, like I said, I operate from a full state of transparency, and I think a lot of my clients know that too.
Curious to ask, how does one qualify for enterprise?
Yeah. So typically we have a discovery call. So if somebody's interested, they can feel free to book a discovery call with me. The link should be in the bio. But really, it's law firms that have the opportunity and want to continue to grow with LegalSoft, whether that is from a social media perspective, whether that is from a VA perspective. It's somebody who wants to continuously grow and be bigger and bigger. So we typically don't even have an enterprise conversation with our clients until they're at least at, 10 to 15 VAs, but have the potential to get up to 20, 25, 30 in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So that is one qualifying factor. The other qualifying factor is really how large is your law firm? How many states are you in? How many offices do you have? So this is all covered under our discovery call. But if you have room for growth, if you want to continue to grow with us and you can see yourself doing that, definitely worth booking a demo with me to be able to talk more specifically about your practice and if it makes sense for both of our businesses.
Got it. Help me understand one more thing. Is there a membership fee that you pay monthly? Is there some sort of subscription fee? What does the cost look like to get into enterprise?
Yeah, I have the fun job, so I just give everything away. It's completely free. We actually, the assistant operations manager, as I talked about earlier, is completely free, which is about a $35,000 annual value. There is no charge. There's no fee. The only thing that we want is a partnership. We want you to continue to grow. We want to be your sole staffing provider for the next year. That's it. Otherwise, I will do everything in my power to continue to help you guys as the client grow. I will bend over backwards. I love working with my clients. They're all amazing. That's really the only thing that we ask is a 1 year commitment from our clients.
So where can people find Jesse or where can people book a demo to learn a little bit more about enterprise?
The Woodland Hills office. No, I'm just kidding. No, you can go to LegalSoft/enterprise and book a demo with me there. That's probably the easiest way. And the link should be in the bio as well.
In celebration of Cinco de Mayo, we have poured ourselves a little treat. We have tequila in our hand, and
Oh,
it's a great segue into the last question. That's one of my favorite questions to ask. What's making you happy this week, Jesse?
I think I'm looking at
Besides the tequila.
it. um, oh, that's a great question. I would have to say spending time with my family on Sunday. So, my brother's birthday is today. His wife's birthday is on Tuesday, so we're gonna have a little family shindig on Sunday. So just hanging out with the fam and the babies.
Nice. We'll drink
What about you?
responsibly.
Oh, well, of course. What about you?
It's a tough question to answer, but I think I have to go with one that's probably going to sound a little cheesy, but I have to go with my friends. I have a lot of friends visiting from out of town, from Miami, from New York. One of their birthdays was yesterday. We're having a barbecue tomorrow, and I don't get to spend enough time with them as I'd like. So, very happy to be able to spend some time with my friends.
Awesome. I love that.
And cheers to that.
Cheers. Clink.
Jessi, thank you for being on our podcast this week.
Oh my gosh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you think enterprise could be right for your firm, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.